Geoffrey Giuliano has been a professional actor from the age of 12 and has appeared in numerous movies from Scorpion King 3 to The Mechanic: Resurrection. He is also a journalist, an audiobook narrator, and the author of some 30 internationally selling books on the Beatles and other music icons. But his biggest break so far has come from his recent role as VIP 4 on the Netflix Sensation Squid Game. We caught up with Geoffrey at his home in Thailand to talk about his life-changing role in Squid Game and what comes next. So Netflix, Squid Game, has it changed your life?
Wow. I bought some roosters.
Yeah. But they wake you up every morning.
Yes. Well, I get sexual invitations from men and women, and I suppose non-binary as well.
That's a great way to start.
No, because that whole thing I did in the Squid Game was sex, and I'll satisfy you in 5, if you satisfy me, I'll change your life. So they say, well, you weren't satisfied in the film, so I'll satisfy you.
If you can satisfy me in 5 minutes, I'll change your life.
So I get sexual invitations. I'm just telling you, pass no comment on it. I respectfully decline each and every, most, no, all of them. And I'm like a famous guy now, I was famous before with my books, but the book famous and movie star famous is slightly different. This is more fun, the other one's a little more subdued. But man, it's the overnight success that took 15 years, but it's more than 15 years because I got a master's degree in the 70s and I did dinner theater and all the things you're supposed, Shakespeare in the Park, and I've done, and maybe one of the dying breed of a generation that did everything you were supposed to do to be a successful actor. And it didn't happen. I'll tell you a touching and funny story, ironic story. My son was in that room. I went in to make sure he was okay because he leaves the light on and all that, like teenagers do. So I tuck him in and his foot was off the bed. This was 3 weeks before Squid Game came out. And I picked up his foot and I put the blanket over. And there was a moonbeam coming in on the window. And I looked in that moonbeam and it shined in my face like some sort of Joan Crawford movie. And I said to myself out loud, because I'm a drama queen, I said, well, you did everything you were supposed to do. You did what they told you to do. You put in all those years. You took all those crappy jobs and sometimes a good job, but nothing moved the needle. And Jeff, buddy, you're way into your 60s now. It's not going to happen for you, man. 3 weeks later, it happened.
Listen, I'm willing to give anybody some slack. That's not a problem. I just have to say that I'm a difficult man to please. I hope you won't disappoint me.
And it happened like I was in the Beatles or something, It was crazy. What's the reason? Look, I have been doing press nonstop for 3 months. And without a press agent, without any assistance from Netflix or the production, just people are coming to me, and I'll tell you why that is. The other people don't speak English. It becomes then a little difficult to coordinate an interview. Plus, they're all, surrounded by agents and managers and things because they're gold, and if you want to talk about Squid Game, I'm the guy that you need to come to, and of course, it breaks my heart to get publicity. I know you know that, but I just sort of forced myself to do it.
But it's for Netflix. It's been such a phenomenal success.
They made almost $1 billion on a $21 million investment.
Wasn't expected, was it?
No. Nobody knew. No, I'm telling you, the director's a friend of mine. Nobody knew that this was going to happen, least of all me. Now, my fee was about 3 times more than my normal fee to leave the country and make a film. And when I got there, the hotel was suspiciously nice. It's like an apartment suite. In other words, people that fruit baskets and, you know, people there, oh, Mr. Giuliano, I asked, I'm fine. And so I thought, well, this is funny. But then I got to the set. And the set was like the Astrodome in Houston or something. It was the building was so big, the soundstage, that you couldn't even really see the end of it. You know, it was just like this monolithic mothership had landed. And I kind of, well, there's something going on here. Why are they paying me all this money? Why the suite, the business class flight, and now this set? The set was just, it was all hand painted on the walls, and there was a ceiling. I have never seen any movie set where there was a ceiling, and I know why, because we were sitting at those sofas, the VIPs, and they were shooting up, and they could maybe get a ceiling shot or something in there. And then I went into that sex room where I had the sex scene, and there were all these phallic symbols, and you know, and I looked around, psychedelic, and I said, well, I wasn't aware that the Koreans took psychedelic drugs, but maybe they saw it in a book, because I don't think they do. And not that I would know anything about that. But at any rate, it was just a production of obviously, I saw those guys standing around with the pink and the mask, and I said, oh, extras, that's all. I thought just extras. And I thought, well, I had a clue, is what I'm trying to tell you, in my own inarticulate way, that indeed this was perhaps something more than a normal assignment that I've had. For instance, Peninsula Train to Busan, an acting assignment which I'm proud of. Not that I'm not of this, but it's a different animal. We'll talk about that. It was just filmed in an old prison, you know, and they just took a corner and they put some props in there, and so that's usually the way it is. So this was a real full-blown situation, but still, no one had any clue that this would ever happen. And if I had, I would have taken unlimited selfies and behind the scenes, and you know, tried to negotiate getting the mask. I did get the robe.
Yes, I can see that.
Did get the robe, but no one knew.
So you've got a lot going on. You've got 3 successful productions all on Netflix at the same time.
Well, apparently I hold a record. I was, so I got this call from a casting director in Bangkok that thinks I'm talented but difficult. One of those is correct. One of those 2 is correct. She said, do you want to do this movie with Woody Harrelson? And I said, well, what's the part? And she said, well, Jeff, it's like a really small part. And I said, well, no, I don't want to do it. Well, what do you mean? Well, I don't think it builds. Of course, I never take small parts, you know. Principal, it's got to be somewhere I don't care where, and it's got to be in principal cast somewhere on the spectrum. I said no. And so 2 weeks later, she called me back. She said, yeah, but the director wants you to do it. And I said, well, look, this part is too small. No again. 2 weeks later, she called back. I say it's 2 weeks tell the story, make it sound good. But anyways, after some time, she called me back. She said, we're prepared to give you 3 times the fee that we first quoted you. I said, and she said, could you do it as a favor to me, because I could get in trouble because the director really, really wants you and feels that I need to deliver. So anyway, I did it. And I didn't think nothing about it. It was a really small mafia film called Kate with Woody Harrelson.
Set in Japan, yes.
Yeah, but it was really here.
Yes.
I did that, and I forgot about it. And my kids started calling and said, hey, you're on Netflix. I said, what are you talking about? Squid Game isn't out. And there I was. And then they used me in a flashback scene with Woody Harrelson and da-da-da. So that became, I'm sorry, I'm long-winded answers here. That became the #1 film on Netflix. But at the same time that occurred, I was also in the #1 Netflix series. Now, I have been told, I don't know if this is true. Someone called me from LA and said, you're the only actor that's been in both at the same time, the #1 Netflix series and the #1 Netflix, but you know, movie. But it was nothing to me. None of this was anything to me. I'm just like a streetwalker out there on the beach road. I wait for a customer, you know? So people called me and I took the job, you know, and it worked out.
Yeah.
You know, it worked out after 28 movies that didn't move the needle. You know, I was in a movie, you visited me on the set called Mechanic Resurrection with Tommy Lee Jones. I thought sure that I was going to be a big movie star when that happened. Didn't happen.
Yeah.
So I just kind of gave up. I considered these acting assignments as get some money, get out of the house, doing something I love, but I didn't expect any career movement at all. And then came Squid Game.
But when you're not acting, you're
I'm
writing.
always acting.
Always
How
acting.
dare you? Out of my house.
But when you're not acting, you're writing and you're doing
Yeah.
podcasts. I mean, you're so prolific,
I
Geoffrey.
am.
I mean,
Wonderful.
You just don't stop.
I'm inspiring.
Why? Yeah. You're
No,
just
look, no,
getting
I
there.
man, this is the way, you know,
the
I
way
don't
you
know
are.
it. No,
No.
I'll tell you what I say about it when people ask, because I'm a writer and an actor and a designer and all this stuff, is that, and it's pretentious, as is my wont, but, you know, it's like there's an assembly line in heaven, and all the souls go by, and the saints, they look over to make sure, and everyone says, stop! He's got a little bag of fairy dust next to him, and he'll put his hand and just a little bit of fairy dust on that one. All right, go ahead again. So, because my father was a plumber, and my mother was a housewife in the 50s, and there's no reason that I should be this sort of actor and narrator and impresario and writer. There's no reason for this, you know, from my background. Karmically, another life, who knows? But there's something that undefinable, something, it's indefinable something that has occurred at inception.
Yeah.
You know, like the room filled with light, and my
And here
parents,
you are.
what's that? And orbs went through the room, and there's this magical beam came.
And
I
here
don't
you
know.
are today on your throne with your robe.
I don't know.
What do you like the most, though? What do you enjoy the most? Is it the acting, the writing?
Acting.
Yeah.
Acting.
Acting's fun.
Real life is difficult for me.
Hmm.
Acting is no problem, you know. Well, it's almost when I'm really into a part, which is difficult to get into with all the infrastructure of lights and cranes and people and right up there and looking at you and, you know, headphones. But when I can get into it, it's almost like a meditative state or hypnotic state. Sometimes my eyes glass over. I do that actually to try to blur out any interruptions, you know. I'll sort of unfocus my eyes and I go into a kind of a state. There's movies I could show you where I have done that. Not on this one. This was stressful because no one spoke English. So I wasn't given any direction. I just had to I was just do it, action, do it, you know. And that's more of a strain. It's much better if if the director can say, can you bring that down a little bit, Geoffrey, or bring that up, or, you know. So I didn't have benefit of any of that because I don't speak any English, you know. And there was one translator for about 300 people. So I love acting. Acting is like a religion to me.
Yeah.
I would assume I'm commensurate. My dedication to acting is commensurate with being a good Catholic. You know, goes to mass. You know, not a fanatic, but very much into Catholicism. So it's a religious experience for me, and it's next to my son, the greatest. And there's nothing that comes other than my son, even close. But way down the list would be my love of acting.
Would you please sit?
No, I'm not. I'm not fucking sitting down. I'm done with Wilson investigations.
It's about Jeremy.
Yeah? What about him?
He's disappeared. Now I sent an agent over there, and he's gone MIA. This was taken in the Patpong district of Bangkok. Nobody's seen him since.
What about stage? Do you like being on stage?
No, not anymore, because I did Entertaining Mr. Sloan by Joe Orton in the 90s at a university, and I went out there and I forgot my name. Don't worry about the script. I didn't even know, who am I? I just went completely blank, and it was
really?
so terrifying
Yeah.
that I didn't want to do theater anymore. I don't think I could do that anymore.
Yeah.
Because it just scared me. In fact, when I went backstage and I was going to run out the back with the whole audience there, my wife said, "No, you can't do that. You have to get out there." And it was, the rest of the show was fine, but it was that just terror, blind terror.
Yeah.
I mean, because I had like a 5-minute speech, and I seriously, I couldn't even speak English.
And you have absolutely no fear on camera. That's
No, because it's only, you can, I know all the tricks. Like, if you mess it up, you go, oh, sorry, I forgot my line, cut. Like, I can control that.
Yes.
You know, they don't want you to do that, and, you know, they wouldn't like it that, you know, actors do that. But yeah, if I feel it's not going well, I've got this little witness next to me, little on my shoulder, and I go, this is not going well. And I go, oh, I'm sorry. And then they go, cut. You know, so I can control that. The longest movie scene ever created was Humphrey Bogart and the girl, I forgot her name, the Maltese Falcon, where they're on the, you know, listen, kid, the troubles of people doesn't add up to a hill of beans in this world. That one where they're at the airport, you know. That was 5.5 minutes. That's the longest scene ever filmed in a movie. So most of these scenes are like 2 minutes,
Yes.
3 minutes. Plus, you can't screw it up because of the way they shoot it. They do a master shot, which is almost like theater. You know, you do the whole thing. And then they do 2 hours of close-ups and over the shoulder and from the side, so they can cut it together.
Yes.
If you mess up on any one of those, they can cut. And then they get something called a wild track at the end, where they just hold the boom up to you and just tell you to say the lines, so that they can show the whatever, the window out the window or whatever. So it's impossible not to look good in a movie. It's like being in a recording studio.
Yes.
You know, it's like it'll sound good going through a $12,000 German Neumann microphone. You can't screw it up.
Yes.
So what's next? Squid Game 2?
Yeah, I think Squid Game 2 is going to happen for me, predicated on a conversation I had with the director, in which he said to me, this is not any hearsay, this is direct. He said, look, I'm going to work with the characters that are not dead. As clearly as you can see, I'm not dead, and I did not die in that movie. In fact, they say, the VIP4, well, what's the problem? Is he dead? No, he's just unconscious. Why did they say that? They went to a lot. There was a few clues that someone watching it could see. One, they went to a big, nothing in a movie is done accidentally. It was very storyboarded, you know, it was like a comic book. They showed you each thing they're going to shoot. So there's no like, just, well, let's shoot this and maybe we'll use it. No, everything was very definite. So they shot me and said, is he dead? No, he's just unconscious. Well, there was no real reason for the story, the plot of the story to say that. And then there was another thing where the cop that I tried to make love to, he dropped, when I was there on my in that sofa, he dropped down this cell phone and took video of me. That's not explained.
Yes.
You know, it's like, why would you? Then it showed a close-up of his hand. He dropped the camera down. He took video of me. Why? You know, why? So those are two things. There's one more thing I can't remember. But there was 3 things that led me to believe that, yes, I'll be in the next one. And then I had a talk with the director, and he said, look, everyone who's, well, he didn't say everyone. The characters that have not been killed will be featured in the next. And then he also said, it's not a prequel as many people think, it's a continuation.
Oh, it is.
So if it's a continuation, then I'm in there, you know.
Yes.
And there's been 2 speculative things. These are purely speculative. One, that somehow the VIPs would be commandeered and made to play the game while the other guys sort of tortured us. And the other one was that that's more popular on the internet with conspiracy theorists, is that the VIPs are rich by virtue of the fact that they won the game in past years. And there's one more thing, too. When we're coming down the stairs, it was originally my line, but it was given to another actor, where they said, well, it's terrific that the games are being done in Korea this year. And in other words, it's an annual thing, and they're all over the world. Now, there's one more thing I've heard. They had no expectation that this would take off in the West. So what they've said now is maybe they'll base the second season not in Korea, you know, where they go to wherever it could be, in the West maybe somewhere.
Yes.
So I believe there'll be more Western actors in season 2, not less. And I'll tell you, I saw a document with a Netflix logo, a contract, which I didn't, my lawyer's angry, I didn't get a copy of it. But it had listed the stars of Squid Game, and there were 14. My name was number 14. So I am a star. I mean, it's splitting hairs maybe, but I was certainly the star of episode 7. No question about that. Guest star of episode 7. And of overall, predicated on the length and breadth of my part, I am a star by Netflix's own document. And I'll be at the last one, of 14. So yeah, it was an incredible end to a crappy year that everybody had. It's like my audiobook company's taken off. I have a new audiobook out on Squid Game, my experience. It's the only one, because I'm a writer also, so I wrote a book, and then I did an audiobook version of it. The book is coming out with St. Martin's Press called Squid Game Confidential in about a year, and now it's out part of it is out, an abridged version is out as an audiobook called Surviving Squid Game. I am VIP 4, and then there's of course another one coming out, and another one. Not that I'm trying to promote myself at all.
Of course not.
But
so we can go on there and download.
They can go and download. Kobo's a good place to get it, but you can get it anywhere, because there's one audiobook on Squid Game. There's one book on Squid Game, and it was written by me. So if you want more Squid Game, just as with the interviews, you kind of have to come to me, because I got a big mouth, and I didn't get millions of dollars like those other people, and I'm not surrounded in some sort of cone of silence like the other people that are already signed up for it. I'm a free agent.
And you're doing lots of promotional stuff too. So
it hasn't stopped. This has been it's tapering. There was something like 5 a day. I'd have to get up at 4 in the morning and stuff. We had the front page of the Toronto Star, the front page of the Tampa Bay Times. Newsweek declared me a global star, which is just a little bit over the top. Even I'm willing to go with, I'll take it, but I mean, they called me a global star. But it was, Newsweek for my generation. Apparently they say it's not what it used to be. But, Newsweek, I mean, a global star. Geoffrey Giuliano's a global star. Well, okay, I'll take it if you say so.
Why not?
I've done dozens, maybe just slightly under 100 interviews in 3 months. And it's been great. At first I was a little I'm a little excitable. I got a little bit over the top and excited about it all, but I've kind of fallen into it now. I have firm offers to do a tour of England with the Comic Cons and America, but the coronavirus is getting in the way of that. But I will meet the fans. There's a Facebook page called VIP4's Squid Game Universe, which is nothing to do with me, which is put out by the fans, from that. And there was one in Iran called the Golden Mask.
Wow.
Whoa.
Wow, the fans go crazy.
So it's been
a phenomenon.
And yeah, it has. And I get a lot of this, sir, and honor to meet you. And I think, really? To me, it was an assignment. It was, you've known me a long time, you've seen me in many movies, and it was a sort of always a bridesmaid, never a bride until you're a bride, But it's been phenomenal, and I'm enjoying it, and it's productive, and it's helped me to, put my son in a very nice private school and buy him a bicycle, $60 when I was a kid. Now they're $1,500 for a bicycle. Really? So it's given us a better life, and that's what it's all about. I think it's a testament to the fact that I don't know how to do anything else.
Yeah.
So what am I going to do? So, and I'm in my 60s, so this is what I do, and I didn't give up. And kind of like David Winters or some of these people we know, you just don't. This is what you are.
Yes.
That's what I am. It's not really possible for me to do anything other than this. And I think it should be encouraging to everybody that wants to be an actor or anything really, but specifically acting. Don't give up. If you really want it, and if there's some smoke there where it looks like you're good at what you do, possibly, just don't give up. Just plow through. Morgan Freeman didn't get a proper acting job until he was in his 50s. And he said it tilted up and then it never went down. And by the way, he does the introduction to our audiobook company, Icon Audiobooks.
Fantastic.
A good little bit of
it's
as
really
a
good
favorite.
Advice, Geoffrey. So
yeah, it's been it's not undeserved, Not like I was laying on the sofa. I've worked my butt off for years and decades. I've worked like this. I was a writer before, but it's welcome. you know, and more than for me or something like that. I don't need, I was already famous for 20 years with my books and the Beatles. It's good for my son. It just allows me to be a better father and provide for my son more in a better way.
Absolutely.
And you got to keep the robe.
I got the robe, and I'll tell you about that. So I liked the robe. I liked it. I thought, that's a robe befitting me, you know? I'll swan around my apartment in this robe. And I asked them if I could have it, and they said, well, sure. Until the boss heard about it, and they said, no. And I said, okay. Could I buy it? No. And then the boss heard about that, and he said, yes. So they paid me in cash. I won't tell you how much. It was quite a bit of money, more than you're supposed to bring to the airport, probably. And $100 bills, American. So what is $1,000? Oh, $1,000, please. So I counted out 10, and I brought it home, and now it's a big deal. TMZ I was approached by an auction house to auction it off, and that with my script and the storyboards for charity, which I won't do now because I'll take it to the Comic Cons.
Absolutely.
You know, and I'll wear it, and maybe we'll put it in the Smithsonian Institute when I bite the dust.
In the meantime, you can swan around.
Believe me, I never take it off. He's gotten dressed up. No, I always wear this. You know, so no, yeah. But it's not like a robe. You think it's like a robe, but it's got shoulders. It's like a
shoulder pads.
It's a proper Joan Crawford look. Yeah,
Brilliant.
And it's all So that was good. That was insightful of me. Because you always hear about actors who get the wardrobe.
Yes.
I've never really been on that level. So I had to buy it, but it was okay, and I'm glad I did. I should have gotten a mask. I thought about putting it in my suitcase again. Not good for an actor to steal from that place.
Thank you, Geoffrey.
Always.